extraordinary scenes yesterday where Jeremy Corbyn suffered the biggest rebellion of his leadership. 90 Labour MPs defied his instructions to abstain on a crucial Brexit vote involving the EEA, that's the European Economic Area. He had 75 of them who supported the motion to remain, so they rebelled to actually support staying in the EEA, and 15 rebelled to vote to leave it. So is Labour in as much chaos as the Tories when it comes to Brexit? Let's talk to Lord Charlie Falconer, former Labour Justice Secretary, who joins us now. Good morning to you, Lord Falconer.
Good morning, Julia.
Good morning. So we spend a lot of time talking about Tory splits on Brexit. Now, yes, they're in government, not opposition, but it seems that Labour is just as split as the Tories.
Well, the Labour Party is certainly divided, but the country is divided as well. I think the Labour membership is overwhelmingly in favour of a softer Brexit as possible, and some people are in favour of not leaving at all. But I think the splits in the Commons yesterday about the EEA, where 75 Labour members of Parliament voted in favour of the EEA as a basis for negotiations, and 15 voted against, and I don't know, about 180 voted or abstained, indicates that no clear way of leaving the European Union is emerging around which a consensus can form. And the reason for that is there's no leadership from the Prime Minister.
I'll certainly agree with you. There hasn't been leadership from the Prime Minister. You talk about there's no consensus about how we should leave, and people talk about no parliamentary majority. Certainly not in the Lords where you sit, but not in the Commons either for what they call a hard Brexit.
You're wrong about that. There's certainly a majority in the Lords in favour of a soft Brexit.
Well, no, they and you are in favour of not Brexiting at all, which is rather different.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying there is a majority in the Lords for a soft Brexit. I think you would find that the Lords accept the result of the referendum. Obviously, some don't, but most do.
OK, but when you say soft Brexit, what do you mean?
I mean a Brexit where we basically remain in a customs union, we remain in a trading union with the European Union.
In the single market.
Based upon the EEA. It has to have some safeguards in it. For example, there needs to be differences in relation to immigration from that in the Treaty for the Functioning of the European Union, but the EFTA EEA treaty does have differences.
And this is sort of like the Norway position, although Norway, they say they're a rule taker rather than a rule maker. They've been asked repeatedly by their government to join the European Union. So each time they say, no, thank you very much for asking. But they do have to accept free movement of people. Perhaps not an issue in Norway, where they've got a very small population per square mile of the country. We've got a rather different position.
That would make free movement more significant, wouldn't you?
Well, no, they're not an overcrowded island already.
No, but it means that they're much more likely to be worried about identity changes from immigration, which therefore makes it a difference. I'm not sure that's a good point, Julia.
Well, I think you'll find, because there hasn't been mass immigration to Norway, they haven't had such concern with it.
Norway's not such a thriving nation as we are.
Well, we've thrived before and we'll thrive again. I'm sure, Lord Falconer.
If, for example, very large car manufacturers cannot manufacture cars anymore, whilst our GDP may in some circumstances, like, for example, asset management for companies like Jacob Rees-Mogg, they will thrive, but will, for example, communities depend upon a car manufacturer thrive? I fear they will not unless we actually get down to sorting out those problems.
And we had exactly the same warnings if we did or didn't join the euro. Just one final question to you, Lord Falconer.
We didn't have warnings about car plants.
Well, we had warnings that we were going to lose loads of industry, including car manufacturing, if we didn't join the euro. Yes, we did.
No, we did
I'll
not.
tweet you later on with some cuttings. Now, I just want to ask you about front page of the Daily Mail today. Conspiracy in Smith Square. Tory rebel Dominic Grieve met with the likes of Alistair Campbell and many others. Shall we say Ramona plotters trying to stop Brexit?
What were they talking about? They went to the European Commission. What does that tell you?
Well, tell you. Well, were you at that meeting?
Absolute rubbish. I mean, what is the? Are you not allowed to go to speak to the European Commission now? Is that against the law?
I'm just wondering whether you were at the meeting and what happened at it.
I was not. No. What is the implication you're drawing? I'm not clear.
I think the implication that is being drawn by many is that there is a plot to stop Brexit from happening.
What do you mean a plot to stop Brexit? Tell me I don't understand the idea that it's illegal for people like Lord Dykes to go and talk to the European Commission seems such nonsense to me. It seems an overwritten, sensible debate about the European Union and how we leave it. It's just, God, it really sours the debate, don't you think? Your language, plot, conspiracy makes the debate so difficult.
Well, I would suggest that the debate gets difficult when people are trying to undermine the will of the British people as expressed
in a referendum. Why do you say that they're doing that? I mean, where does that come from?
Well, to be fair, one of the people at the meeting, Alistair Campbell, has stated quite clearly that we should stop Brexit.
It's a free country, isn't it?
I didn't say it wasn't. Didn't say they
So
couldn't
why
go there.
on
I'm just
earth?
asking
Why
what
on
they're
earth?
doing there.
So, sorry, what on earth? You've got to explain when you go to the European Commission, because otherwise Julia Hartley-Brewer says there's a plot. I think it's ridiculous.
Well, it's not just me saying it. Lord Falconer, lovely to speak to you. He's poo-pooing this to say, let's not a plot, nothing dodgy going on behind the scenes. But I wonder how other people feel. We're joined now by Jacob Rees-Mogg, Conservative MP for North East Somerset, member of the Brexit Select Committee, of course, and a leading Brexiteer. Good morning to you, Jacob.
Good morning, Julia.
Good morning. Now, just on that particular issue, just speaking to Lord Falconer, is there anything suspicious, anything to worry anybody about the likes of the former Tory Attorney General Dominic Grieve, who's leading the Tory rebels against the Brexit EU withdrawal bill, meeting up with the likes of Tony Blair's former spin doctor Alistair Campbell and many other Tory and Lib Dem peers who have expressed very strong views against Brexit, wanting to call for a second referendum, certainly not official Conservative Party policy. Do you see anything suspicious in that?
Well, I think it was a meeting with presentations, as I understand it, from the Daily Mail, and that it was not just people going in to chat with members of the European Commission. And I think there is an issue here about the European Commission using its facilities, which are paid for, of course, by us, to interfere in what is going on in British domestic politics. The European Commission is using our public money, if the reports in the Daily Mail are right, which they seem to be, to support one side of a political argument during a parliamentary process. And I think we should be deeply concerned about that it looks as if the European Commission once again is getting involved in the domestic politics of a member state in one direction, to advocate our remaining members of the European Union against the vote that we had a couple of years ago, and in the midst of a parliamentary process. And I think as we're paying for it, we should be deeply concerned that EU facilities are being used in that way. I think it's improper, if the story's right, which it seems to be.
Now, you've been questioning why Dominic Grieve, the leader of the Tory rebels, the Remain rebels, who's always said, look, we're not trying to stop Brexit. This is about getting the best Brexit in trying to lead rebellions on the EU withdrawal bill. But you've said that perhaps he should be careful about the company he keeps.
Well, I think going into the European Commission with the people who were there, who are people who are involved in organising to stop Brexit. They're not just saying they want proper parliamentary process. They actually want to stop Brexit, as you were pointing out to Lord Falconer. It is a question, and I think Dominic Grieve is an enormously intelligent and able man, and knows how things work, and that if you are in the company of people who are determined to stop Brexit, people may think that you have some sympathy with that, and his views on the European Union are very well known. I also think that the amendments that he has been supporting in relation to a meaningful vote, and particularly the Hailsham amendment, which was rejected by the Commons, but there was an amendment being put down by the pro-Remain people, led by Dominic. The effect of that amendment has always been to try and frustrate Brexit, as Piers pointed out when it was debated in the House of Lords. Lord Billamorier said that he was trying to stop the train wreck that was Brexit, and Lord Hailsham himself said that he viewed the referendum result as, at best, an interim decision.
Well, indeed. And in terms of Dominic Grieve, of course, the former Attorney General who led that group of 13 Tory MPs to force Theresa May into making concessions on Tuesday night, the first of two nights of debates on the Brexit bill, the EU withdrawal bill. We understand that the Prime Minister is going to publish what concessions she has made, the fudge, as it's being known today. Are you expecting the row to rumble on, that the Eurosceptic MPs, like people you represent at the European Research Group, and that the Remainer MPs have actually been told different things by Number 10?
No, I don't think we have. I think that as the story has evolved and it's become clear what has been said, that the same thing's been said to everybody, just some people spun it in a particular direction. So I think what's been coming from Downing Street, the Prime Minister's advisers, indeed the Prime Minister herself, is completely consistent.
Let's get to your thoughts on two other big stories of the day. The front page of some of the papers today, Sajid Javid, the Home Secretary, is basically going to, rein back in on Theresa May's policies when she was Home Secretary. He's going to relinquish the cap on the visas available for non-EU workers who are highly skilled, those, IT, engineering, science, medicine in particular. And in particular, he's going to take doctors and nurses coming from outside the EU outside of that cap so that the NHS can get access to their skills. Do you think that's something that will be welcomed by a lot of Leave voters who were concerned about immigration levels?
Yes, I think it will, because I think what Leave voters were concerned about was control, and that what we're showing, or what the Home Secretary is showing, is he's taking back control, and he's saying, look, there is some immigration that is going to be beneficial to us, that the NHS needs more doctors, and therefore to increase that cap actually helps the UK. And this is fundamental to the type of policy we want once we've left the European Union in terms of immigration. We need and want high-skilled people who are going to make a major contribution to our economy and indeed to our public services. The issue, I think, for most people has been mass unskilled migration, which has had the biggest effect on the least well-off in our society by reducing their ability to earn their living.